All right, I want to talk to you briefly a little bit about politics. I know, not a favorite subject of anybody's, right? Two things you don't want to discuss amongst friends or what? Politics and religion. But I want to talk about the body factory. It's old school shit here. As you can tell from this nice shiny jacket. Old school. Now, the body factory, back in the day, this was a gym that was the brainchild and successful brainchild that it was of Carl Chip McGee Jr. Now, Carl is a guy that I've known a long time, decades. Carl is a guy that was a police officer, very successful guy, very good communicator, guy with some charisma, guy that was able to go into neighborhoods that a lot of other officers had problems in, where he could go in and actually talk to people without similar problems. You know, Carl was a very good police officer, and afterwards, an awesome bodybuilder at the same time. Awesome bodybuilder, and he was a bodybuilder back in the day, and came out of a gym known as the Body Shop, which was legendary in its time, and some people still remember and can talk about it today, older guys, a little bit before me. And Carl was a competitive bodybuilder, and he trained with, knew Mike Menzer at one time there, Arnold, who he wasn't necessarily that impressed with as far as personality at that time. That's the word anyway. I believe that's what he told me a long time ago when last we spoke of it. And God knows who else ever came through. Anybody that came through town or near town needed a place to train, that was the spot that they went to, was the Body Shop. So Carl is kind of a nod to the Body Shop. When he opened his gym, he called it the Body Factory. When he opened this gym, it started out as a very small little place. It was an old 7-Eleven that was gutted out. Not that huge, but you wouldn't believe how much equipment he had jammed into this space. So much shit in there that you could barely move through it. You had to be careful walking through the equipment or you were going to fuck yourself up. You were going to get snagged or jammed or something. So you had to be careful walking through there. The Body Factory turned out to be a huge success. And within a year's time, this little gym that was just the size of a 7-Eleven and what had been formerly a 7-Eleven moved into the mall, into the basement of the mall, which had been a gym a decade earlier, owned by another awesome friend of mine named Brian. And I don't know that it's cool to put his last name out there, so I'm not going to. But ironically enough, also former police officer, was a police officer at that time, and a hell of a bodybuilder, hell of a competitor, and to this day, that's a guy that's always ripped. He is always walks around cut up. He goes around 245-ish, 250, just all the time, just off the cuff. You bump into him, that's what he looks like. Just old school, well-established muscle. Carl, once he moved back into that location, it had sat empty since Brian had closed and moved out of there about a decade earlier. And when Carl reopened that place in the mall, in the basement of the mall, a much larger facility, he just thrived. I believe he hit numbers of something like 2,500 members within the first year there. So that's from zero, and 2 years later, 2,500 paying members on the books. That's pretty damn good. And this gym, his entire thought process, his entire business plan for how he's going to conduct the affairs of this gym was real, street level, from the heart, for bodybuilders, as he was a bodybuilder himself, and it was reflected very strongly. His idea of what a gym should be was the exact opposite of what you would believe a gym should be if you were trying to succeed. He catered to strength athletes and bodybuilders alike, catered to them. These guys were the top guys there. They knew it, they were treated that way, and everybody in the gym knew it. Everybody else, more or less, was lucky to be there. So that in itself, how the hell do you get away with that? I don't know. I've never seen it before or since, but that's how it was there. The music would be through like PA-sized cabinets, like you were at a nightclub, and it was so loud and heavy, just pounding. And you literally had elderly folks in there on treadmills, you know, working out, taking care of themselves. I mean, just what a diverse crowd. And you had anybody that could get there, trained there. So you had world-class athletes there. It was an awesome place. Bodybuilders, strength athletes, it was just an awesome place. And like I said, never seen anything like it before, never seen anything like it since, and I don't think we ever will. I think that it was because of Carl McGee, it was because of Chip. No question, because of him, that's why that model worked. It wouldn't work for anybody else, but it worked dynamite for him. So now he decides he's going to stick his toes into politics. Now why? Genuinely, because he's sick of the way things are being done. He doesn't like the way the government's being run. He doesn't like the decisions that we have to live with that are being made by people we don't agree with and they can't relate to us. So here's a regular guy, a regular person, and comes from our lifestyle. And he wants to be a public servant. He wants to be a politician. He was a public servant as a law enforcement officer, and now he wants to be a public servant in the political field. This is to be applauded. I mean, if you don't like politicians, whatever, that's fine. I understand that sentiment. But this guy is a regular guy and a bodybuilder and a good friend of mine and a hell of a human being. This is a guy that literally would do anything for anybody. If he were capable of doing it, he would do it. He is absolutely a gorilla with a cause, unquestionably. Absolutely one of the best guys I ever met in my life. Absolutely. And one of the very few that I can count on one of my hands, one of the very few people that I could trust just without question with anything and about anything. Just an awesome guy. Awesome guy. Never seen him fail to help anybody he could help. Just a guy with a lot of concern for other people. True, real, not fucking bullshit. So if we could get people like this in office, that's the way to go. Now, that's too good to be true. Just like seeing that Jim make it is too good to be true, but that did happen. It's too good to be true to imagine that he can get elected. And he hasn't been yet. He's run twice, and he hasn't been elected yet. But he did a lot better this time than the first time, because without that kind of money and funding, and without being one of these elite people and traveling in these circles and being well established and having grown up with a silver spoon in your fucking mouth, you don't have the voice that these people have. You don't have the connections these people have, right? It's a little circle. It's a small circle. They don't really want to let a bunch of strangers in there because strangers and real people come in and turn shit upside down for them. But if we could get him in there, it'd be awesome. Now, right now, I don't live in the district where he's running. I don't have any say in any part of it. I, can't vote in it. It's nothing to, But all I'm saying is, this is not a guy, to look down on because you think he's a politician. He is, if he becomes a politician, which he's trying to do, it's out of necessity. It's out of necessity and concern. And it's to be applauded. We need more guys like that. There ain't a lot of guys like him anyway, but amongst those that are, any of them that want to go and step into this shit and see what they can do to change things, that's to be applauded. That is to be applauded. Now, I saw somebody was on our channel in the comments section hassling him just because he's a politician. Somebody doesn't fucking know him, where I know him very well. Somebody that has no idea. I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. You got to give people the benefit of the doubt. Give them the benefit of the doubt. You got to have politicians. That's what we got. I'm telling you, if he didn't feel it necessary, I'm sure he would rather do something else with his time. But he really does. It comes from the heart. He's trying to help. And that's what it's all about. Trying to help. That's what it's all about. So it's part of the game. Politics are part of the game. It's something we live with. It's how we do things here. If we could get more of our own people in there, I think life would be a little bit better for everybody. I think so. How the hell do we know until we accomplish it? We may not accomplish it. But it's damn sure worth a try, and it's damn sure worth an applaud and a nod. So, Carl McGee Jr., my buddy Chip, I'm all for it, man. And shit, if I lived down there anywhere near him, I'd be going door to door, knocking on doors, trying to get people to vote for him. That's all I got to say about that. You know, I'm hoping anybody that comes on this channel, especially if you guys think anything decent of me at all, then at least give any personal friend of mine the benefit of the doubt that if they weren't a person of good character, good moral standing, we probably wouldn't be friends. Just saying.